just start by noticing, noticing breath. And at first, we don't have to effect a change, just bare noticing. And then your breathing may have already shifted, but we can start to just softly enlarge our breathing. So we're drawing in a little bit more breath. Slowly. So you're taking a luxurious amount of pulses, beats, moments to let the air come in. To softly guide an amount of breath to release. So our breath is just going through a slightly narrower hallway. It's a longer hallway, it's a narrower hallway. And then we'll set our left leg out as we prep for a chest opener. Just find out if you're still following breath as you make that little shift in your body. Is breath still in the foreground, or do we drop it, then remember it, and then inhale, the left arm, reach way out over that left leg, and then exhale, lengthening the ribs over that leg, and then lifting the right arm, lifting the arm bone, the shoulder blade starts to lift, we'll say, away from the spine. And just lift the arm and the shoulder blade. If you lifted and pulled your left ribs in on each other, you may have to create a little counterpoint. Because as soon as those left ribs kind of bunch up into each other, spiraling open the chest, it kind of hits a brick wall. So you want those ribs right now, it's on the left side, to have their space so that when you're breathing into those low ribs, you feel them move. If you don't, readjust. We'll lower the hand for a few breaths, and lowering the hand, kind of drawing out this area between the collarbone and the head. reaching the right hand behind back, you can grab onto your thigh. Okay. And choosing a little different grip, so it's possible to reach that right hand back and leave the hand wide open. You still get a nice wind up of that tissue, that fascia, through the collar and the chest. But you don't have to grab to do it. These first several breaths and movements will come upright. It's just about breathing in and through the sinus, the neck, the lung, the chest, the area with a lot of nervous system hardware. So vascular, nerve, and lymph are densely convening in this head to chest area. So just taking some time to use our breath, open, smooth out the terrain. Inhale, reach the right arm out. And then exhale, reach the right ribs forward. We'll raise the left arm. Yet feel the right ribs. These are the bottom ribs. If they're bunched up, set up again. If you're not sure, use your left hand and check your ribs. Feel them, move them over your thigh. And then work your chest opening spiral. Lowering the left hand. And as you reach with a lowered hand, biasing the tissues from collarbone to skull bone. We'll start to notice how the breath pathways, how that opens up as we're spending these 3 pose moments in this area of our body. What do you notice about the brain, the breath moving in and toward and around and from the brain? What do you notice about the neck? Is it opening up? Is it destabilizing? We'll take the left hand behind the back. You can grab a thigh, you can leave that open-handed. Letting our breath walk through a longer, narrower corridor. This gives us kind of the effect of feeling a luxury of time in our body. When we release, we'll unwind, lie on back, have a roll or a block nearby. Actually, let's start off with the block. My mistake. I'm gonna get those nice sweetie obliques revved up. Okay, so we're gonna compress the block between our left thigh and our right forearm. I like forearm. You could use hand, but I think forearm, there's a better guarantee that the shoulder will get drawn down and the back of the shoulder gets a little better stretch, my opinion. So my right foot's on the ground, my left foot is off the ground. Take your left hand and slip it behind your head. I'm going to go through these, all on one side, then all on the other side, just like we would do elbow to knee. Inhale into the low belly and the low back. We're going to lift the head up as we do that. Pause. I'm going to push that forearm into the thigh into the forearm. Picking up that right foot, exhale, reach that right foot out. Push that right arm into that left thigh. Sink the belly down. Feel that the head rests in the hand. Inhale, bend the right knee. Set the foot down. And do these just like elbow to knee. Push with the forearm. Pick up the right foot. Exhale, reach out through the right foot. Rest the head in the hand. Pull low belly down. So you want the freedom of that head around the neck to just move how it needs to when we do these really deep exhales. Inhale, bend the right knee, set the foot down. And relax the arm pressure for a moment. And then press the forearm into the thigh into the block. Pick up that right foot. Exhale, reach it out. Push with the forearm into the thigh. Draw the low belly in and down. All right, inhale. Let the head down. Set the feet down. We'll switch sides. We'll do 3 on the other. So we've done some other versions of this over the weekend. And this is just another way to do it. So the block is secured between my left forearm and my right thigh. Otherwise, we're working this just like elbow to knee. Inhale, the head and the shoulder blades up off the ground. Push with the forearm into the thigh. The block gets a little smush. And feel how the low back lengthens along the ground. Pick up that left foot. Exhale, reach it out. Push, forearm, thigh, thigh, forearm. And as you draw the belly down, let the head rest in the hand. So you're not squeezing the head when you squeeze the, gather the low belly. Inhale. Set that left foot down for a moment. The head, shoulders, stay up. Push, forearm, thigh. Block gets squished. Exhale, pick up the left foot, reach it out. Push a little more. Left forearm into right thigh. Pull the low belly in, letting the head and the neck lengthen. Inhale, bend the left knee, set the left foot down. push, left forearm, right thigh. Pick up the left foot, exhale, left leg reaches out. Push. Compress that block. Draw the low belly down. And the way that you're relaxing the head, it's like you're letting the lid off the steam pot just in the back, letting it relax. You're not stretching, not pulling. Inhale, let that left knee bend, head down. Set it all down. Place the block between your legs, raise the legs to the sky. For this one, we can leave the head on the ground. Inhale into the low belly and the low back. First move, squeeze the object. Exhale. Lengthen up through the inner legs as you kind of corset, gather those low belly muscles, sinking them in. Inhale. Pause. Squeeze object. Exhale. Reach. So feeling the inner legs lengthen. The foot bones spread. Pull low belly down. Inhale. Squeeze. It's to activate inner leg. Exhale. Reach to lengthen, opening up that active inner leg. Pull low belly down. Inhale. Next part. Place the hands on the part of the block facing your head. Not facing the sky, but facing your face. Squeeze the object. Push a little bit with your palms into the block. Exhale. Squeeze, press, reach. Sink the low belly in and down. Inhale is a release move. Oh, hang in. This is the easy part. Squeeze. Press with the palms. Exhale, reach, squeeze, push with the palms. Pull low belly in and down. Last one, inhale. And squeeze, press, exhale. Pull low belly in. Now we'll let it down. So one of the skills that we're always working with is containment and release. With our breath, with our energy. So this isn't a practice of just being a whoopee cushion and letting energy just flap out at every moment. Right? The reason that we're sustaining these poses, the reason that we're working with the Ujjayi breath through our nostrils, slowing it down, is to create a degree of containment and release so that we have stuff to work with. And turn over, we'll press up. So we do have to address the neck and the head. So when we set up for dolphin, it's to help us address the neck and the head after all that low belly exhaling stuff. So if you're getting some nice long, sustained, low abdominal connection, it's really, really nice to ensure that the neck can open and that area from neck to skull can soften. So in your setup, wait, breathing. Unfortunately, this is one of those moments where most people like to rush, like they're going to a pose, like they got a quick get to a pose. I can't emphasize this enough. The neck in the setup, I think, gets neglected and just driven right by. Just take a moment, breathe, register the release of the neck. Not the flaccidity, but the relaxed openness between neck and skull. When you're sure you've got that, and you're pulling those shoulders down with your lats and your armpit muscles, and you're pushing the earth, firing up those chest muscles, and the neck is still relaxed, then we'll press into dolphin. I'm going to talk us through raising a limb at a time. If you're not raising the arm limbs, just hang out with us in the way that you can. We'll start by taking the right elbow and maybe hand away from the ground. And then we'll set that right arm limb down. And then we'll take the left elbow, possibly hand away from the ground. I actually like to use the fingertips on the ground as I create a little extra push. It can often afford us a more thorough sense of wanting and being able to relax the structure between the neck and the skull. And then we'll set the left arm limb down. And we'll raise the left leg limb. Connecting, foregrounding breath. There we go. Sweet. Letting those rib muscles, all those breathing structures work to their fullest. And we'll set the left leg limb down, right, raising the right leg. And really setting the right foot down, the knees down. All right. So we're going to get into a bit of half Virasana. And have a block. I'm making a decision right now. My initial thought was to do this on the ground, but now I'm rethinking it. Let's do it in bridge. We'll do this in bridge. So we'll lie on back. Feet hip width. And exhaling, the tailbone lifts, the buttock lifts, the spine lifts. And we'll insert the block under the sacrum. This is kind of an interesting pose for some of the same anatomical reasons, and that we're accessing, feeling, biasing the pelvic sacral area with this Virasana. And when we're here in this bridge, the back of the neck is lengthened. And for some of us, this may actually feel a little bit like a stretch. But I want you to pay careful mind to this area between the skull and the neck bones. There's just a melting. There's kind of letting the back of the skull kind of puddle open. Left hand, grab left ankle, half Virasana, and just still being careful. Sometimes we use the head to steer us in, our bridge. That back of neck, and again, I'm just imagining a puddle, how the water can just easily spread. Not pushing. And while we're registering that softness and that openness in the back of the neck, we can be registering this bias or interest or sensation in around the sacrum. And anytime you feel or you catch the head starting to claw at the ground or pull the ground, just relax that impulse to claw the ground with your head. Right, optional move is raising the right leg up. If you used your head to grab the ground, let your triceps go out a little bit. Use them instead of your head. And we'll let the right foot down. Let that left foot out. And we'll trade sides. Right hand draws the right foot back. And then optional is raising the left leg. we'll set that left foot down. Let the right foot out. And we're still just minding, feeling the back of the head, the back of the neck. Nothing is overly stretchy, and more importantly, well, as importantly rather, nothing needs to push or claw at the ground. These are really small, delicate neck muscles. All right, let's turn to a side. We'll get our mat next to a wall. I'm going to talk us through a downward dog at the wall. If you wanted to do handstand instead, you sure could. But I'm just going to use the cues for our downward dog at the wall. So first is the downward dog. We're letting the neck and head relax. And then stepping foot up hip height. Exhaling, following with the other foot. To 3, 6 or so breaths. There you go. And hopefully the felt sense of your breath in your body, even if the pose feels strong, hopefully that feeling of breath is still really present, noticeable. It's not getting lost in the noise of and then we'll set it down. When we move our mats back, we'll stand at the top. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back, lunge. Pause right here. Stay really engaged through the back leg, pressing down. Stay quite engaged through the arms, lifting the ribs up. And on your next exhale, press down extra. It's possible your knee lifts up, arrow lunge. It's possible you're just pressing really strongly through the back leg. And release. Inhale, the hips over the knee, twisting lunge. Exhale, the left elbow over the right thigh. As we prepare to slide down for interlock, I'm just nestling armpit nearer to thigh. And going for your interlock. Release. Inhale, unwind. Hands to ground. Exhale, we'll lower. Cobra. Exhale, lower. Downward dog. Lunge. Inhale, left foot forward. We're placing the right knee down. Getting engaged through the limbs, going all the way vibrantly to the periphery. And keep engaging that right leg downward and backward into the ground. With your next exhale, push so verily. You light up that back leg. And possibly the knee lifts off the ground, arrow lunge. And you're using the arms to lift the ribs up. Not just in the front, but in the back. Use the arms. When you wrap, you spread the lats, and you're stretching those back muscles toward the sky. Yep, there you go. That's it. Yep. And release by inhaling the hips back over the right knee, twisting, lunge. Exhale the right elbow over the left thigh. And exhaling, sliding down, interlock, your version. And release. Inhaling, unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. All right, setting up archer. Inhale, right foot forward. We'll go left elbow up, right down. Left elbow up. Right elbow down. So breath is still taking these long walks through narrow corridors. That's the purpose of our ujjayi. That's the bottleneck. So we're slowing, changing the rhythm of all that structure involved in breathing. Letting those muscles discover more refined, higher fidelity movement. When we release, let the arms down, flex the wrists so the palms face down, the fingertips point back, and take one inhalation, flexing, the wrists pushing the palms, reaching the palms away from the collarbone. I'm just reaching back. You could reach out to the side. And exhaling, letting the arms relax. Inhale, hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale the left foot forward, archer, warrior one. The right elbow up. The left elbow down. So as we get into this archer area, how does this configuration help us bias, focus in, breathe in to these upper ribs, back and front, upper ribs. So kind of asking that question with our breath, how do I sense and move and aerate and kind of exercise and feel into these upper backbones and upper chest bones? It's a breath question. So we're performing the question, the inquiry, with our breath. The answer that we get is visceral. It's movement, it's visceral, it's sensory. So I may have to use some abdominals to kind of curtail, bulging the low ribs out or dumping my weight into the low back. I may have to kind of structure and build this up a little differently so that I can feel that bias and that breath in my upper back. And release. When you let the strap down, the arms down, pause right here. Flex at the wrists so the palms face down. I've got my fingertips pointing back. And as you inhale into the chest, reaching the arms, exhaling, pressing out through the palms. You can engage the triceps, spread the fingertips. Exhaling, release. Inhale, hands under chest or shoulders. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, gently set the knees down. We've got some options here. Option 1 is wheel. Option 2 is something really close to wheel. So if you're working wheel, if it's been a while since you've worked wheel, probably has been, you might want to use an object between your legs. If you want to set up blocks against your wall to create a nice 45-degree angle for your hands and your wrists, that's another nice option. Just know you've got to give them a real sturdy test. And we'll take a couple of rounds. The first round is usually just kind of working through the inertia that sometimes builds up from night to morning. And the second round, steadier and deeper than the first. If you're not doing wheel, maybe you can do a partial wheel, where you just soft touch the head to the ground and you just pause and maintain. There are some other versions, but let's just get going with wheel. I'll watch a little bit. All right. So no, I did not say how long the rounds are, but we'll do 2. So it's really up to you to get really steady twice. And as you're experiencing what sometimes is the little quivers that happen in wheel, we remember that we can reinterpret that sense of emergency. Because maybe the way that we're wanting or needing to move is to just connect to breath in a strengthened and more robust way. So maybe it's not an emergency, that we exit, maybe there's an urgency to find a deeper breath in her body. So probably in the second round, if you're finished both rounds, that's a little fast. Once you have lowered down and you're able to just have some breath moments, we'll be working lying, half Virasana. This is where you may need to help yourself up, configure some blocks, elevation, couch cushion under your butt. So the bend on the knees is more, we'll say, forgiving. As you're setting this up, start with a potential space to reach your arms out overhead. So you want just enough space from your wall. And we'll start the left side half Virasana. So one way to work this is once you have your ankle beside your hip, one option is to reach the arms overhead. Another option, it's a little bit more stretch and it might feel like a release for your low back, is to hold and raise the right leg toward your chest. You can do this right leg bent or right leg straight. And release. We'll switch out to the other side. So I'm starting lying, it's just where I can start. You may need to be starting from seated and walking the hands back. I didn't say that, but looser guidance today. So half Virasana, right ankle beside the hip. Option one is to lie, if you're lying, with the arms out overhead. Overhead means on the ground. Option 2 is to hold the left leg, drawing it toward chest. I will release. And when you lie back, your legs free, we'll cross ankle over thigh. This is that figure 4 shaped back release. You grab the shin, flex, really active feet. And again, as we draw the leg in, just to feel the back side, the butt side, soften. Allow the head to rest atop the floor so that it's not clawing into the ground. And we'll switch sides. Figure 4. So using one thigh to nudge the ankle and the figure 4 shaped leg toward chest. If you need some knee support, sometimes you just need to take a hand to the muscle around the knee. Or sometimes grabbing the calf and the shin. Sometimes you can move the calf muscle and kind of draw the shin toward the femur. So there's not a pulling sensation within the knee. And release, Shavasana. When you're lying, just feel again, once more, the relationship of the head to the neck. The ground is a way to measure your release, your opening, your letting open that whole area at the bottom of the skull, that big opening into and from which all of our nerve and brain fluid and spinal fluid and blood are transacting brain to body, body to brain. There's so much valuable information that makes it to the brain through the medium of pulsation, fluid rhythm. And when that singular area is stymied, congested with contraction, that pulsation is muted. And often, kind of one of my favorite ways to measure a shavasana is to just feel, rest, and wait until that pulsation. You might be feeling through your brain and your neck and your sacrum. Feels relaxed, coherent. It's like the pulsation tells you when to it's a good moment in your rest to change task. I'm just going to wait with this a little bit. So when you feel that pulsation from the head and the spine and the pelvis, starting to shift gears, if you will, and we can bend knees. And turn to a side and press up. Namaste.